All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Suarez Family Brewery, and they're out of Livingston, New York, and this is their state Pils. So they are calling this one an all New York State ingredient Pilsner that comes in at 4.6% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is just under 7 weeks old. So a couple weeks ago, I reviewed their Palatine Pils, which was their house Pilsner. And that was the first beer I ever had from Suarez, period. And they made a good first impression because that was a very tasty and quite delicious in general as far as a Pilsner goes. This one, a little bit more unique. All of the ingredients are from New York State, and I think they change up the recipe based on what's available to them when they brew this one. And for this one, I did see that they're using all New York State crystal hops. So I think that's pretty interesting. They do say don't expect like a European kind of like hop kick on this one, obviously, because they're using New York State. I should say hop kick, but the hops they're using, the European hops that they use in a lot of, German style Pilsners and, Czech style Pilsners. Don't expect that out of this because, again, the ingredients are from New York State. So I'm excited to see what this one tastes like. Maybe it'll have, a little more fruitiness or something a little bit different to it. I'm curious to see how this one is, though, compared to the Palatine Pils. So anyway, we'll put it over here. Very simplistic label. So yeah, it almost looks like a Keller beer to some degree. It has that, you can see my hand through that. I can make out my fingers and whatnot, but it has a decent haze to it. It's probably going to look more hazy on camera, I'd imagine. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, it has a nice haze to it. Had about a finger of a bright white soap sudsy looking head that is now kind of dissipated to a thin film. Lots of carbonation. It looks nice. I wish the head retention was a little better, but what are you going to do? Skin knows. Wow, what? There's like a bit, it's almost like they're using Motueka in here. I know it's all New York State hops, or ingredients, so the hops are obviously crystal, but has like a lemon lime kind of feel to it. A little bit of like a red apple core, lemon lime, citrus, maybe even a touch of orange. And I got this recently in STS Pils from Russian River, but this has more like a sourdough bread vibe as to oppose of like a generic breadiness from the malt, and it's really nice. On the finish, there's this grassy, herbaceous, almost slight funky character that kind of reminds me of like a farmhouse ale or a wild ale, like a little bit of that horse blanket type of thing going on. Very minute though. Like I'm not talking like it's over top. It's just slightly noticeable. Yeah, it definitely has a Saison farmhouse kind of edge to it. It smells like it's going to be quite refreshing though. Maybe a touch of sulfur, being an actual lager. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Palatine was a little bit more true to style, and this one is kind of different because they're using all New York State ingredients, right? So yeah, I'm curious to see how this one tastes. So cheers, everyone. That is really nice. I really like the finish. Finishes. Man, all around the palate, like on every side, there's this lingering almost lemon lime kind of vibe that's just like omnipresent, and it's like around the palate, but not directly on top of it. I don't know if I've ever experienced a beer like this from that aspect. Very weird, but in a good way. Body's lower side of medium, 4.6%. That's fine. The mouthfeel, it's very crisp. This is a bit over moderately carbonated, very spritzy and effervescent on the palate. It's a very clean beer. It's a crispy boy. That's what this is, a crispy boy. Super smooth on the palate, super easy to drink. The taste, the forefront, you get that malty kind of sourdough breadiness that hits me right away. Now, a lot of times I say it dives underneath the palate and it's with you on the palate throughout. It's omnipresent. It's everywhere. It's not. It kind of stops about a third of the way through the palate. But right at the front, it's sourdough bread. Halfway through the palate is where I get hit with like a little bit of like a red apple, maybe like a red delicious. I've been getting into apples lately. I've been trying a whole bunch of different ones. I probably have tried like in the past couple months, like 10, maybe 10 different apples, maybe 12. I'll just go each week and, pick out a couple different ones that I see that, maybe a certain grocery store doesn't have. And this definitely has like a red delicious kind of apple. Probably maybe coming from the yeast, maybe coming from the malt. Right after though, the lemon lime hits. And like I said, instead of just like going on to the finish, it just kind of expands sideways. Like it's on this, like in my cheeks, it's lemon lime, and it's zesty. It's a little bit tart. It's a little like a sweeter, like lemon, like a Sprite or something, or a 7-Up. But it works so beautifully with the rest of this beer. And on the finish, I get this nice herbaceous, grassy, slightly funky finish. Again, it has a little bit of that horse blanket or barnyard funk. Finish is semi to full on dry, very mild bitterness, but it's pretty dry. Extremely well balanced beer. This is really nice. I think I like this better than the Palatine Pils. And I get that, this beer probably changes with each batch because they're using different ingredients. But whatever batch this is, and they don't specify like on Untappd, I don't think they specified on their Instagram or on their website. This is whatever batch it is, but this is the one that has crystal hops and from New York State. And I keep on saying from New York State, but I already said this is an all New York State ingredient, so I don't have to keep on repeating myself. But let's go one more sip, and I'm gonna lock in a rating. What I like about this is, I've been drinking a lot of lagers lately. You might have noticed like 1 or 2 per week. A lot of folks have sent them to me. I picked them up myself. And Suarez is a beer that I heard a lot of hype about for numerous years, and I just never got a chance to get my hands on it. So being able to pick up 2 and trying their house Pilsner and then trying this, definitely quality through and through. And based on these 2 beers, I can tell the quality is very high, and I understand why people enjoy them. This beer, though, I find better than their house Pilsner. It just resonates with me more. I think the uniqueness with that lemon lime, a little bit of that funkiness, even like the specific like red delicious kind of apple feel. It just works for me. It's extremely well balanced. I like that. It's very carbonated too, like not overly carbonated, but just super crispy on the palate. This is a refreshing beer with some really nice flavors. So State Pils, I'm going to go higher than the Palatine Pils. I am going to give this a high 4.25 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.35. Almost gets in the low 4 or 5 range. This is quite tasty. Now, I can't speak, for the other batches they've done of this with different ingredients from New York State, but this one specifically is just hitting me kind of like in the feels right now. I'm going to crush that in about 5 to 10 minutes off camera. Price and availability, and I say this with so many of these, craft lagers. This is where I always say this is where it can go sideways for some. On their website, this is $18 a 4-pack. I paid $5 for that can. Is that pricey for a 4.6% Pilsner? Yes. Do I mind paying that to try these guys out occasionally? No. If I ever placed an order, I would definitely spread the wealth of whatever I would buy. I'd probably keep a couple cans of each 4-pack and then either send the others to some folks or maybe even give them to my friends here locally. But it is tough to pay, $18 a 4-pack for something as well made as this is. It's just like it's 4.6%. I know the style is extremely tough to brew. You can't hide any faults the whole 9. But when you're paying, that price and you can go get like a double IPA that's 8.5% for like the same price or even cheaper, it's tough. But I will say I don't regret buying either of these cans, and I will buy more cans from them if they show up singles for sure. And availability, it's Suarez, so you have to either be in New York State and hope one of your local very carbonated. Hope one of your local bottle shops goes and picks your stuff up, or you can be in New York, Pennsylvania, or Maryland and have it delivered from their website. Those are the only 3 states that they ship to, or I guess in PA's case, Commonwealth. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's worth trying these guys out once. At the very least, I think they do good stuff. So if you've had this one before or any prior batch, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this one. 4.6%, you can't taste it. And I'm going to go crush the rest of this one off camera. So until the next one, cheers.